So we have to add safranin, wait a couple of minutes and then transfer it on a slide. Gently place a cover slip over it and observe under microscope. So what you observe is the epidermis, outermost layer of the cell called as epidermis. The epidermis is usually made up of single layer of cells. In some plants living in very dry habitat, the epidermis may be thicker since protection against water loss is critical. So here the characteristics of the epidermis. So first characteristic is it is made up of single layer of cells. In dry habitats, that is in desert plants, the epidermis may be thicker because the protection is important. Protection from the water is important. They won't allow the water to escape out. Entire plant, surface of the plant has outermost covering called epidermis. It protects all the parts of the plant. So its main function is protection. Main function is protection part. Epidermal cells on the aerial parts of plants often secrete a waxy water resistant layer on their outer surface. That is why, for what reason? Waxy layer is due to generally leaf. Whenever you see the dew drops you will see. It is not absorbed. The plants won't, the leaves won't get soaked with water. That is because of the presence of waxy layer. So water won't stay there. If any rainfall is there, at that time water won't stay on the leaf, and as well as due to presence of waxy layer, the loss of water, the transpiration won't take place. So therefore loss of water is prevented due to presence of this waxy water resistant layer. So here it is given already. This aids in protection against loss of water, mechanical injury, and invasion by parasitic fungi. That is, different microorganisms cannot enter due to this waxy layer. Since it has a protective role to play, cells of epidermis tissues are continuous layer without intercellular spaces. They are relatively flat and often their outer side walls are thicker than the inner walls. So these are the characteristics of epidermis. Are you able to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
The second
Ma'am,
time
are
you're
you
doing.
sharing your screen, ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, like any textbook or something is open?
Yes.
Ma'am,
No,
I
ma'am,
can
we
see.
can't see.
Even I
We
can
can
see.
see.
We can, yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Now
I
we can see.
Now we can see.
So here, the next part, you have to keep your book in front of you, textbook, and underline whatever I'm underlining. And that is the important parts only I'm underlining. So that is, you have to keep revising those parts. Okay, so epidermis is the outer covering of every plant part, plant body. In desert plants, it is thicker and mostly covered with a waxy layer. Aerial parts of the plants are often secretes a waxy water resistant layer on their outer surface so that the water loss by the transpiration. Transpiration is the process in which water evaporates through the leaves. Is called transpiration process. So that transpiration is prevented due to thicker walls, thicker outer walls, and the waxy layer over the epidermis. It's clear? The presence of waxy layer helps in protection from water loss. It provides mechanical support, that is mechanical injury if it is there, that can be prevented. And the parasites cannot enter the leaves. So due to presence of waxy layer. So that is important. Importance of waxy layer, waxy outer layer of leaf. Then also, the next characteristics is epidermal tissues form a continuous layer without intercellular spaces because they have to protect the different parts. So there should not be any gaps between the cells. So there should be no, with the cells have been binded so close, that is there are no intercellular spaces. The epidermal cells are generally flat. They don't have cuboidal or three-dimensional structures. They are completely flat structures. And their outermost layers are, outer layers or outer side walls are more thicker as compared to the inner walls. Outside part, because they have to protect it. Just like our house, outside, all the outer boundaries are more thicker and stronger as compared to inner walls. Inner room walls are not that much stronger as compared to the outer walls. The same thing, because those outer walls has to protect us. So for the protection, outer walls are more thicker as compared to inner walls. Clear?
Yes.
Then next is explained about the stomata. Give me a second, I'm switching on light. Now about the, on the leaf, lower epidermis, leaf, the upper part of the leaf has upper epidermis, and lower part of the leaf has a lower epidermis. So on the lower epidermis, there are some small holes are present. So those are stomata. So we can observe small pores here and there in the epidermis of the leaf. These pores are called stomata. Stomata are enclosed by two kidney-shaped cells called guard cells. You can see the diagram here. Here, this is epidermis. This is kidney bean-shaped structures called as, these ones are called as guard cells. And these hole between them, that hole, this part, this inner part, the holes, these are called stomata. Stoma, plural, stomata, singular. Okay. So these stomata helps in exchange of gases. Exchange of gases takes place through this stomata. So leaves needs carbon dioxide, oxygen, both. So that exchange of gases as well as water, excess water is given out. That is a process of transpiration also takes place through this stomata. So stomata are enclosed by two kidney-shaped cells called as guard cells. They are necessary for exchanging gases with the atmosphere. Transpiration, that is here, the two functions of guard cells, always asked question. So one is exchanging gases and the second one is transpiration. What is transpiration? Loss of water in the form of water vapor. Also takes place through stomata. So these are the two functions. So what is the one function? What is the one function is? Two functions it has. Guard cell, stomata. So what is the first function?
Exchanging gases.
Exchanging gases. And the second function?
Transpiration.
Transpiration. That is loss of water, loss of excess of water. Excess water is lost in the form of water vapors. That process is called as transpiration. Okay. Epidermal cells of roots, whose function is water absorption, commonly bear long hair-like paths that are greatly increase the total absorptive area. So this is the epidermal cells of roots. The function is to, this is the water absorption. So they have more hair-like structures are present so that they can absorb more amount of water. So increase the surface area so that is more water can be absorbed. Then again it is explained about the desert plants. Epidermis was thick, waxy coating of cutin. That is a cutin, that is again waxy coating. Chemical substance with waterproof quality on its outer surface. So for what reason? For what reason they have cutin covering?
So that they don't lose water.
Yes, they don't lose water because there is already, they have a water scarce area they are surviving. So if they lose water, then from where they will get the water? So whatever the absorbed water should not get lost. So therefore they have the outer covering made up of waxy coating called as cutin. Okay. Now this is all about epidermis you have learned. Now epidermis, after when the tall trees, when the tree become mature, then green part of the stem gets converted into brown color. That brown bark is formed over it. That is we call as cortex tissues. The same epidermis finally dies over the multiple layers of the cells have been formed. The dead cells are formed over it and gets converted into the different type of a tissue. We call it as cork tissues. So the brown part of the bark is called as cork. Is the outer layer of the branch of a tree different from the outer layer of young stem? So what is the difference between these two? Outer layer of a branch of a tree, what is the color? What is the color?
Brown.
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 Brownish color. And then what about the young stem?
Green.
Green.
Green in color. So what
Green.
is the main difference between those two?
Ma'am, the
Color.
epidermis cells are dead cells. I think that's why they're brown.
Yes, in a young stem, the outermost covering is a single layer of epidermal cells. Epidermis is present. Epidermal cells are present, so which are green in color. But the branch of tree, that part get died, the cells died. Dead cells are formed over it. Many layers of dead cells are formed over it. So that is get converted into cork cells. So cork cells are present, which is whose color is brownish color, and the green color is due to epidermis part. Okay, now that is explained here. As plants grow older, the outer protective tissue undergoes certain changes. A strip of secondary meristem located in the cortex forms layer of cells, which constitutes the cork. A strip of secondary meristem, that is two layers of meristem, in the cortex that is outermost layer, forms layers of cells which constitute cork cells. Cork cells are dead, compactly arranged, without intercellular spaces. They don't have intercellular spaces because their main function is also to protect. They also have a substance called suberin in their walls that makes them impervious to gases and water. So no gas, no water, or no microorganisms enter through cortex because its main function is to support from mechanical injury and protect from unwanted gas. So unwanted gas, that is microorganisms. Otherwise, when they enter, those parasites enter and damages the full plant tree. So therefore its main function is to protect from all those invaders. So no exchange of gases, not even with water, and because of that the this one foreign particles, that is a germs, pathogens, has been prevented from entering to the inside the tree. Okay, so these are the characteristics of cork cells. Is that clear? Suberin, you have to remember the suberin. They also have a substance called suberin in their walls. Is that clear about the cork cells and epidermal cells? They ask most commonly questions from epidermis and cork cells. Everyone underlined?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then next we have to learn the complex permanent tissues. So there are two types of complex permanent tissues. One is xylem and second one is phloem. Phloem and xylem. So xylem helps in, it is a vessels. Actually, these are vascular bundles. Vascular bundles, that means these forms pipe-like structures, which helps in transportation of water and mineral and food through them. So from one part of the plant to the other part of the plant, transportation takes place through these vascular bundles. So one of the vascular bundle is called a xylem. Its main function is the conduction of water and mineral from roots to leaves. One direction movement only. That is, the roots will absorb water and those will be transferred towards every cell for photosynthesis. Is done with the help of xylem tissues. And by using water and carbon dioxide, leaves prepare their food. So all these organic food should be transferred to each and every part of the cell, part of the plant. So that transportation of the water soluble food takes place through phloem. So phloem helps in transportation of food from leaves to different parts of the plants. Is that clear? So here first we have to learn, what do you mean by complex permanent tissues or complex tissues?
Which consists to one or more kind of cells.
Yes, so the tissue consists of different types of cells. Everyone's function is different, but all together they are performing a one single task. So that is the reason they are called as complex permanent tissues. Okay, so xylem and phloem are examples of such complex tissues. They are both conducting tissues and constitute a vascular bundle. Vascular tissues, vessels, that means a pipe-like structures. Vascular tissues is a distinctive feature of complex plants, one that has made possible their survival in the terrestrial environment. The diagram is given, both the diagrams are important, mostly asked diagrams. More than xylem, they have asked phloem. Now, what are the xylems and phloems? So, what are the different types of cells these xylems and phloem consists of? Xylem consists of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fiber. These are mostly dead. Except parenchyma, these three are dead cells. So, therefore, xylem is mostly dead. Mostly dead, not all dead. Parenchyma is only living. Remaining tracheid, vessels, and xylem fibers are dead tissues. Okay. Tracheids and vessels. Tracheids and vessels. Generally, all the plants, non-flowering plants, the plants which do not bear flower, that means their reproduction do not take place by sexual method. So all those plants have tracheid as a vascular bundle. Vascular bundle for the conduction. They have tracheids, they do not have vessels. But in flowering plants, they have vessels for conduction of water and mineral. So tracheids are there, but tracheids don't perform any function. The vessels perform functions in that. And the lower level plants, they have tracheids as a vascular tissue, so which conducts the water and minerals towards the leaves. So tracheids and vessels are the main tube-like structures which actually works for conduction of water. So they have thick walls. Many are dead cells. These have thick walls. They have dead cells. They have tubular structures. They allow this allowed them to transport water and minerals vertically. That is a function of vessels and tracheids. Parenchyma's function, xylem parenchyma's function is to provide food to them, nourishment to those cells. And fibers' function, that is clerenchymatic fibers are there. So this is their function is supportive in function. They provide support, mechanical support. So they won't rupture. Protective covering is formed over these bundles with the help of those fibers. Is it clear about the xylem?
Ma'am, can you repeat the last point?
Yes, ma'am.
Last point is fibers provides protection to these bundles. So these pipes. So these pipes are present inside. So outside protection is provided by these fibers.
So, ma'am, it's almost the same function as parenchyma, right? Like it is.
Parenchyma is providing food only.
Support. Oh,
It stores food. It stores food for these cells. And
no, ma'am. I
fibers
meant to say
provides,
sclerenchyma.
yeah,
Is it like
not parenchyma,
sclerenchyma?
sclerenchyma.
Same colors.
These
Yeah.
are sclerenchyma only. Xylem fibers are the sclerenchyma only. Xylem fiber. Fiber is a word used for sclerenchyma. So these are sclerenchyma only. Are this point clear? All these points of xylem are clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So what are the points I told right now?
Xylem consists of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers.
Yes, one more question.
Tracheids and vessels are used to the thick walls that are dead cells. They're basically tubercle structures which allow to transport water and minerals from the root of the plant to the upper parts of the plant.
Yes.
Then after that, the parenchyma's main function is to store food, and xylem fibers provide support to the cell.
Yes, right. They are standing erect. So that erection, that means erect means a stand vertically. So that vertical support they need. They should not get bent. So that is that part, that function is performed by these fibers.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, can you please repeat which part of the xylem is alive?
Parenchyma. Only parenchyma.
Only parenchyma.
Yes. All others are dead.
Okay, ma'am.
So these are the points of differentiating points between xylem and phloem you need to know. Now next is phloem we will learn, and then after that we'll write the differentiating points between xylem and phloem, which is a 3-mark question. Phloem is made up of 5 types of cells. 5 types. Okay. Sieve cells, sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fiber, and phloem parenchyma. In all these, only phloem fiber is the dead tissue. So therefore, phloem is mostly living tissue. Because in this, only one, that is phloem fibers, are dead tissues, dead cells. So therefore, it is called as mostly living tissue. Okay. Then it consists of these 5 points, these 5 types of cells you need to remember. 5 types of sieve cells, sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fiber, and phloem parenchyma. Phloem parenchyma's main function is to store food. Sieve cells, sieve tubes are helps in conduction of water in upward direction, upward downward direction. So these are sieve tubes. These are sieve tubes. Inside that only the sieve cells are present. Here these are the sieve cells are present. Companion cells are beside sieve tubes. The companion cells are present. These are companion cells, which helps in sideway conduction. The movement upward and downward is done with the help of sieve tube. But if the sideway conduction has to be done, so that conduction is done with the help of companion cell. Okay, so the vertical conduction of food is done with the help of sieve tubes and sieve cells. But the sideway conduction is done with the help of companion cells, partners. Parenchymas, beside that, parenchymas are present which store food, and fibers provide mechanical support to them. So that is only explained here. Sieve tubes are tubular cells with perforated walls. Perforated means having pores on their walls. Phloem transports food from leaves to other parts of the plant. Except phloem fiber, the phloem cells are living cells. So therefore, it is called as mostly living tissue.
Ma'am, so xylem is mostly dead and phloem
Phloem
is
is
mostly
mostly
alive.
living, yes. So write down the differentiating points between the xylem and phloem.
Ma'am, in notebook itself.
Yes, in notebook, write down. So has given you column wise.
I think so, ma'am.
Check it is given.
No, ma'am, in kind of flow chart.
Flow chart they have given. Write as a differentiating point for 3 marks it is asked.
Ma'am, can we write like a differentiating point is phloem is made up of 4 types of if phloem has 4 constituents and phloem has 5 constituents.
Yes. Xylem has 4 and phloem has 5. First write down xylem helps in conduction of water and minerals. Helps in conduction of water and minerals.
Is the first point?
Yes. And the phloem? Phloem transports the products of photosynthesis.
Ma'am, another difference is
Phloem,
that
first write down, Ashish. Copy down. First I'm telling you,
Ma'am,
write
could
down.
you repeat the first point?
Xylem helps in transportation of water and minerals. And phloem helps in transportation of products of photosynthesis. That is glucose, sucrose, etc. Xylem mostly dead, phloem mostly alive. Mostly dead, mostly alive.
Ma'am, can you tell the points which you told earlier before mostly dead and alive?
Their function helps in transportation of water and mineral and helps in transportation of food. Now the transportation in xylem is unidirectional. Transportation in xylem is unidirectional. Transportation in xylem is unidirectional. That is from roots to leaves. Roots to leaves. And phloem's conduction is
From leaves to
bidirectional.
bidirectional.
From leaves to any side.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Ma'am, could you repeat the phloem transportation?
Bidirectional.
That is from?
To leaves to any part.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Ma'am, we can write transportation and conduction. Do they mean the same in this lesson, or do they have some variation?
No. Same.
Okay.
Ma'am, in this tissue, it's unidirectional root to leaves, ma'am. So can it be leaves to root?
No.
That is in phloem only.
Phloem
Root to-
only. Xylem
Okay.
only from root to leaves.
Okay.
Then transportation, what in xylem, water transportation in xylem needs water transportation in xylem takes place with simple physical force. water transportation in xylem takes place with simple physical force like transpiration pull, like transpiration pull. And in phloem side, transport of food in phloem, transport of food in phloem requires energy, in the form of ATP, requires energy in the form of ATP.
Ma'am, could you repeat it again?
What happened?
Ma'am, the last point.
Transport of water in xylem takes place with needs simple physical force. I'm making my own sentences. Okay. Transportation in xylem or transportation of water in xylem needs simple physical force called transpiration pull. In food, transport of food in phloem requires energy in the form of ATP. Okay. These are all about the plant's tissues. Diagram of phloem every year asked question. So you have to practice phloem diagram. Is it clear? Is this clear?
Phloem diagram, right?
Yes, phloem diagram. Always asked.
Ma'am, should we draw it now in the notebook?
Now, no. Don't waste time.
Ma'am, so plant tissues only this much.
Yeah, plant tissues is this much. So plant tissues, what you have learned. One is the meristematic tissues, continuously
Sclerenchyma.
dividing tissues, and then permanent tissues. In that permanent tissues, bifurcated into two parts.
Simple and
That
complex.
is simple permanent and complex permanent. In simple permanent, you have learned parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma, plus epidermal cells and cortex. And then complex permanent tissues, xylem and vessels. It's clear?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, how many? Only 4 differentiation points were given, right?
Yes. Then animal tissues. Animal tissues are more complex than plant tissues. So in animal tissues, you have to learn epithelial tissues, then connective tissues, muscular tissues, and nervous tissues. So in that connective tissues is the larger part. Different types of connective tissues you have to learn. Epithelial tissues. Animal tissues, we have to start with the epithelial tissues. The epithelial tissues, that is our skin, the outer covering of our body, even the outer covering of different organs are made up of epithelial tissues. So every organ's outer covering, just like the wall of our house. We are living inside the house. The wall of our house are the protective tissues. Inside every room is separated from other room with the help of walls. One house is separated from other house with the help of walls. So these wall-like structures in our body are called as epithelial tissues. So outer protective covering of all organs, even the cavities are made. So those cavities is the outer lining. Or organs' outer linings are made up of epithelial tissues. Are you able to understand where these epithelial are present? It is exactly similar structure as our house walls, the wall of the house. Your video is not on? Your videos are not on. Anintya, Tarun, Kaushal.
Ma'am, I have network issue.
So epithelial tissues, different types of epithelial tissues you have to learn wherever they are present and according to their functions. Epithelial tissues, different types of epithelial tissues according to their structure actually. Simple squamous epithelial tissues, the simple type of epithelials are called as squamous. Then there are striated epithelials, stratified squamous epithelial, not stratified squamous epithelial. Then cuboidal are there, depending on their shapes of the cells. They are cuboidal, columnar. Then they are glandular. Cilia is present over them. Gland-like structure, they secrete something, some chemicals they secrete. So therefore they are also called as glandular. So one by one, we have to go through each and every tissues. Epithelial tissues, we are starting with. Epithelial tissues. So the covering or protective tissues in the animal are epithelial tissues. The coverings or protective tissues are epithelial tissues. Epithelium covers most organs and cavities within the body. It also forms a barrier to keep different body systems separate. So just like our different rooms are separated with the help of walls, like this epithelium separates different organs. The skin, the lining of mouth, the lining of blood vessels, lung alveoli, kidney tubules are all made up of epithelial tissues. Epithelial tissues are tightly packed structure and forms a continuous sheet. They have only small amount of cementing material between them. Almost no intercellular spaces because they have to separate everything from each other. So there is no intercellular spaces. Anything entering or leaving the body must cross at least one or two epithelium, because every organ is, outer covering of every organ is made up of epithelial tissues. Just like from moving from one room to other room, what you have to cross?
Door.
Door you have to cross. The walls you have to pass, means there is a, through the walls there is a door. So that means you have to cross the wall.
Yes, ma'am. Door, wall.
Doors are present in the wall openings. We cannot pass through the wall. So that's the reason we made door. But we have to pass through that. So from moving out of the house, we have to cross many walls. So like that, any substance to get in or get out. So whenever there is surgeries has been done, so there are the cut has been formed. In different layers, the cut has to form. The Caesar has to pass through 4 or 5 layers. Those all 4 or 5 layers are made up of epithelial cells. As a result, the permeability of the cells varies. Various epithelia plays an important role in regulating the exchange of materials between the body. So leave this part. So they have the basement membrane. When the cells are formed, all cells have been clustered over one cementing material. So that cementing material is the basement membrane. So there is a lower basement membrane is present. Like this is the basement. And over that these cells are present like this. These cells are present over them. It is exactly similar structure, that is the ground, a cuboidal ground, and over that grasses are growing. So that structure, that is a basement membrane. Different epithelia shows differing structures that correlate with their unique function. Different epithelium has their different shape structure depending on their functions. For example, in the cells lining blood vessels, so in the arteries and vessels or lung alveoli, where transportation of the substance occurs through selectively permeable surface, there is a simple flat epithelium is present, which we call as squamous epithelium. Squamous epithelium. So where is the squamous is present? Blood vessel lining, lungs alveoli linings. These are called as simple squamous epithelium. Squama means scale of skin, skin-like structure, the thin, flat skin-like structure. This is a flat structure. This is called simple squamous. So simple squamous are present. Where they are present? Blood vessel lining, lung alveoli, they are also present in the transportation path, that is esophagus. What is esophagus?
Food pipe.
Food pipe is esophagus. Lining of mouth, saliva is present there. So simple squamous is present at these places. Okay. So simple squamous epithelium cells are extremely thin, flat, and form a delicate lining. They are completely flat structure. They don't have anything like. Here you can see the layer of simple squamous is formed one over the other. So here is only one layer with the many cells have been combined together. So this is simple squamous flat structure. So skin, so this one. So this is about the simple squamous. They are flat. They forms a delicate lining, and they are present in the lining of these four parts that you have to remember. Now, when these simple squamous are present one above the other, stack-like structures they form. You can see here the many cells have stacked one above the other because they need a many layers should be formed as for the protection. So these are present in skin. So those are called as stratified squamous epithelium. Stratified squamous epithelium. These are present in skin. Flat cells stacked one above the other. So here it is written, skin. The skin which protect the body is also made up of squamous epithelium. Skin epithelial cells are arranged in many layers to prevent wear and tear. Since they are arranged in a pattern of layers, the epithelium is called as stratified squamous epithelium. Where they are present? In the skin. Just below the skin is actually made up of squamous epithelium. But there is a many layers of these flat cells are present. So therefore it has given special name stratified squamous. Clear?
Yes.
Then column-like structures, columnar, mostly present in the glands where the secretion is happening. The chemicals are secreted over them. So those column-like structures, pillar-like structures they are made up of. Where absorption and secretion occurs, as in the inner lining of the intestine, tall epithelium cells are present called as columnar epithelium. These facilitates the movement across epithelial barrier. So that means they can easily pass through those epithelium. The chemicals, absorption and secretion of some chemicals can pass through the epithelium. That epithelium is a columnar epithelium. So where are the columnar are present? Small intestine. Columnar are present in the inner wall of small intestine. Even in the respiratory tract. They are present in the respiratory tract. In the respiratory tract, the columnar epithelial tissues also has cilia. So that is the movement is easily possible. The hair-like project. Cilia, what is cilia means? Hair-like projections
Like projections.
on the outer surface of epithelial cells. These cilia can move and their movement pushes the mucus forward to clear it. This type of epithelium is thus called a ciliated columnar epithelium present in respiratory tract. Then cuboidal. These are cuboidal epithelium. Cuboidal epithelium, cube-shaped cells, forms a lining of kidney. Cuboidal forms a lining of kidney tubules, ducts of salivary glands, where it provides mechanical support. Epithelial cells often acquire additional specialization and as gland cells. These cells itself gets converted into glandular cells, which can secrete, they start secreting substances at the epithelial surfaces. Sometimes portion of the epithelial tissues folds inward. So this get fold inwards and a multicellular gland is formed. So this is glandular epithelium. So gland is formed with the help of these epithelium. So those are called as glandular epithelium and start secreting some chemicals, hormones, enzymes. So those are called as glandular epithelium. So what are the types you have learned in epithelium? One is simple squamous, which is present in blood vessel lining. Then esophagus, they are present. Then it is lungs alveoli, they are present. And the kidney tubules, they are present. Not kidney tubules, near about, those are present. So then it is simple squamous, flat structure, flat cells, one layer of flat cells. Then when these cells are arranged in many layers, then it is called as stratified squamous epithelium, which are present in skin. Further is columnar epithelium, column-like structures, which are present in small intestine, where absorption and secretion of some substances takes place. So those secretions can easily pass through the columns. So therefore, columnar epithelium. In the respiratory tract, the columnar epithelium is covered with cilia, hair-like projections. So those are called as ciliated columnar epithelium. Then the fourth one is cuboidal epithelium, which are present in the inner lining of kidney tubules. Tubes of kidney, kidneys inside kidney, there are tubes are present. So that tubules of kidney, these cuboidal epithelium are present. And some cuboidal epithelium has converted into glands, get folded and convert into glands, which start secreting some chemicals like hormones and enzymes. So those are, that type of a epithelium is called as glandular epithelium. Are you able to understand? Epithelium clear, all 6 types?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right side wise, so that is only, you can revise those. No need to read again and again the same chapter fully. It's clear part?
Yes, ma'am.
Now this is epithelium, the protective shield of every organ, cavities, as well as the body, our full body. That is epithelium. Then next is connective tissues. So many tissues, transportation is very important. Many tissues are connected together. 2 different tissues have been connected together. 2 different organs has been connected together with the help of some tissues, cells. Those are called as connective tissues. So connective tissue generally consists of the 2 things. One is called matrix and the second one is called as cells. The matrix is the medium in which different cells are mixed. So matrix is just like if you take an example of blood. Blood is one of the connective tissue. So in that plasma is a liquid medium and through which the different cells has been mixed into it. They are easily passing through that liquid. Those are RBC, WBC, and platelets. So they are embedded in that liquid medium. So that liquid medium, that is a plasma, is a matrix. It's clear? In general, that is a matrix, and the different cells present embedded in that, those are the different cells, thrombocytes, different cells only. So there are different cells, different connective tissues. They have given those cells as a different names they have been given. So these cells also consist of fibers also. Some thread-like structures are also present. So white fiber and yellow fiber. They gives the different strength to those tissues. They provides elasticity. Yellow fiber provides more elasticity. White fibers provides more strength. So fibers are also present. Depending on the amount of fiber, the strength, elasticity is present in those connective tissues. Okay. Now, depending on matrix, the type of matrix, the connective tissues has been divided into fluid connective tissues, dense connective tissues, loose connective tissues. Fluid connective tissues, where the matrix is fluid. There is a fluid matrix in which different cells have been embedded. So those are fluid connective tissues. So examples of fluid connective tissues is blood and lymph. Dense connective tissues. So dense connective tissues, that means the matrix is dense, rigid, hard, no liquid. It is completely hard, rigid structure it is. So those are examples are bone, cartilage, tendon, and ligaments. So those four are dense connective tissues. And third one is loose connective tissues. In that, two more examples you will get it. You have to learn two more types of cells, that is adipose and areolar. Okay. So total 8 tissues you have to learn. What are the 3 types of connective tissues? First one, depending on a matrix it is. Fluid connective tissues, that is examples of fluid connective tissues.
Blood.
Blood and lymph. LYMPH, lymph. Okay.
White blood cells.
So that will come under blood only. Blood is one tissue. Lymph is another tissue. These are fluid. So their matrix is fluid matrix. They can easily move. Then second one is dense connective tissues. So where matrix is completely compactly packed, hard, rough, rigid. So those are bone, cartilage, tendons, and ligaments. It's clear? And loose connective tissues, in that areolar tissues and adipose tissues. So one by one, we have to go through all of them. So fluid connective tissues is blood. So blood, in the blood, the matrix is plasma. Plasma is the liquid medium. All the cells have been embedded in that. Those are WBCs, RBCs, and platelets are mixed into the matrix called plasma. Plasma is colorless liquid and carries more protein, have more amount of protein. It consists of RBC. What is the function of RBC?
Ma'am, RBC's function is to, like, transport oxygen.
RBC consists of hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is red in color. Due to that, the blood is red in color. And its main function of hemoglobin is to carry oxygen. It carries oxygen. Okay, so main function of RBC is to carry oxygen. Okay. Second one, WBC, white blood cells, white blood corpuscles. So its function is to immune system. It binds the, maintains or forms the immune system, soldiers of the body, they all fights with the infections, microorganisms. Okay. Then platelets. So function of platelets is to clot the blood. Function of platelets is to clot the blood. Blood clotting is done with the help of platelets. And the plasma's function, what is the function of blood? Is to transport different substances from one organ to other organ. So main function of the blood, why blood is called connective tissues? Because it connects different outputs of different organs. So it transports the different substances from one organ to different organ. Just like oxygen and carbon dioxide are transported with the help of plasma, blood. Again, the nitrogenous waste, it is collected from every cell and transported to the kidneys for the excretion. Small intestine digests the food. So that food has to be transported to each and every cell. So who is doing that? Blood is doing that function. Also, the endocrine system, endocrine glands secretes hormones. So those are also transported from one place to other place with the help of blood itself. So therefore, blood is called connective tissues. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, are you showing anything below the connective tissue?
No, nothing. I'm not showing anything.
Okay.
So here nothing is written. Actually, in connective tissues, they have not written anything in textbook.
Only 4 to 5
Some,
paras.
yes, one line for each connective tissues they have written. So you have to learn more for your school exam. They won't only ask on this part.
Ma'am, if they won't ask mostly from NCERT, why are they following NCERT?
This is a basic book. The
There's
syllabus is clear. This is the syllabus that you have to learn.
Okay.
So from this in depth they will ask you.
Only because
now tissue, if you start working, if the tissue chapter, if you start learning, there is a one chapter can be made on each type of tissue. Epithelial tissue, one full chapter can be made. Connective tissues, one or two chapters is needed for connective tissues, a big chapter. So they are limiting some part to you because in further you have to learn it. So what limited part you have to learn? There should be some limit for every syllabus. So that's the reason NCERT is there.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll start learning, then it is much more things. So where to stop for your level? Who will decide that? So NCERT is deciding. Otherwise, every reference book, if you check out, every reference book has different contents they have given. The limit is not there. It's not possible for you at this level to learn much more things. So to limit that part, these books you need to know. This is a basic syllabus you need to know.
Ma'am, our bio teacher saying learn only the NCERT book, you'll do good enough. Our bio teacher.
And yes, and then after that, when your exams will come now, so that time tell me.
Ma'am, our bio teacher 11th grade portions and all she's giving.
She's maybe practicing for 11th. Before teaching here, this one rehearsal is going on.
She's giving complex diagrams of endoplasm